week 7, and for the first 6 weeks, we were kind of doing Python refresher. And as of this week, we're going to start doing analysis. And so we will start with Pandas, okay? Pandas is a Python module for working with tabular data, okay? Remember, so far, we were working with this one. If you remember, we were working with this Apple Store, and actually we have the data set here. Let me show you one more time. Where was it? Okay. Here. This is the data set you're familiar with. And I'm going to put it here. I think in my download folder, I have it. Let me put it there, this one. So we don't need it, but I'm going to show you something. Let me put this one also inside of my folder, desktop, data science, and here. Okay, let me paste it here. I will show you. So normally, if you remember, I was opening it, we were opening it, and then we were assigning a name, and then we were reading with a CSV reader, and then we were assigning another name, and then when we iterated, we were having, I just took a look at the first 5 items, and we were having something like this, you know. It is far from being a tabular format. It doesn't look like a table that we are used to when we use Excel or Google Sheet. You know, we had to learn how to do this, but it is not very convenient way to do data analysis. That's why we're going to use Pandas, which will help us. Which will make things very easy for us when we do data analysis. Okay, with this Pandas module, we can read data from Excel, you know, Google spreadsheet, SQL, or you name it, from any kind of file, we can load data, and then we can load it. Actually, it will look like a table, okay? So later on, we're going to practice loading data and analysis. But before we start, let's talk about what it will look like. Let me open my notes. You give me a second. Okay. Okay, I don't need this, and I don't need this, and this one will be enough. Okay, good. So let's take a look at this table, okay? So when we load table, this is just an image. We didn't load it yet, but when we load it, we will have something like this. So what do we see here? So we will have columns, okay? So we call this column labels. We will have rows on the left-hand side. We'll have row labels, okay? And so these are axes, okay? For example, this is a 0th axis, first axis, second, third. It means the number, integer values of the column names, okay? And these are index axes, for example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are axes. So don't worry about it. You know, later on when we use it, you know, when we talk about axes, you will know what we're talking about. And in Pandas, we can use any type of data. As you see, this particular table, this is from we'll talk about the data set in a moment. The first part is about ranking. Second part is about revenues of the companies. These are all companies, 500 top 500 countries in the world. And these are their profits. And so these are the countries. So as you see, this is string type, this is float type. These two are integers. Okay, there's nothing you don't know about this. We talked about data types. So in this lesson, you'll learn basics of working in single table in Pandas. We will be working on only one single table at a time, okay? And then we will learn how to create a table from scratch. And we will also learn how to load table with data and how to read it in our Python, and then how to analyze it, okay? And we will learn how to select certain rows, certain columns of the table. So yes, this is what we're going to do. And now we will start with importing the module first. So we import like this, import pandas as PD. Later on, we will refer to this module as PD. We're not going to use pandas, but we'll just use PD. Okay, so right now, as you see, we have green check, and then so we import it and everything is fine. Okay, so how to create a data frame from a dictionary? Okay, so as you see, we have a dictionary here. We talked about this, right? We have this curly braces here. And from here, all the way here, we have curly braces. And inside of this, we have a dictionary key. And because there are multiple values here, so that's why they're in a dictionary. So it looks like, yeah. So we have names here. Actually, yeah, we have name, we have address of the people and their age, okay? So now from this dictionary, I want to create a table, like tabular, which we call data frame actually, okay? So I'm going to call it data frame, so short form of DF. So how can we create a data frame from a dictionary? We start with PD. As you remember, we imported our library, and so from now on we will refer to it as PD. And dot data frame, okay? So data frame, now open bracket, okay? And here, because this one, the name of the everything here is defined as my dict, I'm going to just type here the name, the variable, okay? So this is the first part. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it actually. So when we run it, okay, first I need to run this one, right? I need to run this one. Now, so it's working fine, right? So right now, let me show you one more time. So I variable name, I start with pd.dataframe. Please notice I start with capital D, and then in the middle F is capital. Remember, Python is case sensitive. You need to make sure it is like this. Now it worked without any error. So I want to see how it looks like. Print df. So when I run it, you see right now I have my table. I have my table. In fact, as I told you before, when you work in Notebook, you even don't have to print it. you just type df and it is the same. It even looks better this way. Okay. And yes, this is one thing. And so another thing, I can actually, right now, because there's variable here, and I can actually directly create this one inside the bracket. Let me create it one more time. PD data frame. Okay, open bracket. So how about I copy everything here, including curly braces, and put it here. So it is the same thing. There is no difference. So it's totally up to you. You can assign a variable name and then put inside of this one, or you can directly create from here. And you can, yes, if you want to use it later, you can give it a name, df, okay? So then you can use it however you want, okay? So this is how we create a data frame from a dictionary, okay? Now, second thing, because we don't only work with dictionary, and we are not only limited to dictionary when we want to create a data frame, we can actually do it from lists as well, okay? So remember lists, we talked about lists before, and let's take a look at this. There is a list of many lists, okay? So it means we have a big list here, and inside of this one, we have one list, we have second list, we have third list, and we also have another list here, okay? This is actually for the column names, okay? So I want to create a data frame from this. How can I do it? So let me call this df2, okay, data frame 2. So I'm going to start again with PD data frame. And inside of this one, I'm going to, you know what? I will just copy this one and paste it here. Okay. So everything in big dictionary here. So and this is only values and comma. I also need to have, I just hit enter. I also need to have columns for this, right? And let me type here columns. Okay, columns. And I'm going to copy this list and it will be a column for me. Okay, now when I run it, so you know there is no error, it means it worked. So we will take a look at it, and let's go over again. We have pd.dataframe, and we have one list here, and inside of this we have 3 other lists. And so after this square bracket, I have comma and columns equal and another list. So remember 1, 2, 3 values here, and I have same number of names here. For example, full name, the address, and age. They need to correspond. There should be same number of items. So now let's check our data frame. See, now we have name, we have address, and we have age. Okay, it works perfectly fine. Okay, good. So this is how we create a data frame. But in most cases, we don't create data. We take data from somewhere and we analyze them. We work on the data given to us, or we collect data from somewhere, okay? So this is how we create, and now we're going to load data that I there's a data set that I provided here. This is F500 data set, okay? So before we load it, let's get familiar with the data set. In order to do analysis, good analysis, you need to know data sets very well, because if you know data sets very well, you can have more insight. You can go deeper in your analysis. You can get better results out of it. Okay, so this is Fortune, because F500 is Fortune 500. Let's take a look at this one. Maybe some of you already know it. There's a Fortune magazine. This is the magazine. So every year, every year you can get more information about it, Fortune Global 500. So every year they somehow measure, they do some, they have some ways to come up with a list of 500 top richest companies in the world. Okay, so the data that we are going to use is taken from it's from 2017. Okay, the actual data set is here, but we're going to use the modified version. This is the original one. You can access to actual one from here. But the one that we are going to use is kind of modified version to make things easy for us, okay? So, and when we load data, you will see it, but let's take a look at the columns of this data, okay? So we'll have the first column will be the company's name. Second one, first or second, I'm not sure. Maybe the first one is rank. Rank is global rank, starting from number 1, 2, 3, it goes all the way to 500. So revenues is there, the money that they make, and revenue change from the previous year to this year as percentage, okay? For example, 70%, or I think it will be 0.7. It will be decimal, but it's percentage. The profit they make, the CEO of each company, chief executive officer. So the industry of the company, whether it's a telecom or I don't know, technology company, whatever. Sector is also sector. And we will also have information about the previous year companies ranking of the previous year and their origin, the origin of the company. Which country is it from? Or their headquarter, where is their headquarter? Okay, so now we're going to start loading our data, okay? So we know how to do it. We did it before. First of all, I need to import the library, yeah. Import Pandas as PD, okay? All right. So now, secondly, in the second part, I'm going to load the data. If you remember, we were loading data like this before, but actually it is a kind of painful process. When we do normal data analysis, we never use this method. We need to know how to do this, but in data analysis, we never use this method. But instead, we are using, most of the time, we're working with comma separated values, okay, CSV files, but it's okay. You can also work with Excel file or Google Sheet, it doesn't matter. I mean, more or less the process is the same. I'm going to start with, like here, as you remember, we start with pd.dataframe because we were creating, but this time we will still start with PD because we have to, it's our reference to the Pandas module, but this time we're going to read, we will use read command. So what are we going to read? It's a CSV file, right? So underscore CSV, open bracket. So now it's important to know the location of your file, okay? So if it is exactly in the same directory as this notebook, all you need to do is in the code, you just need to type the file name. In our case, f500.csv, okay? But if, but if it is elsewhere, you need to remember the location or just move it here. So when as soon as I hit run, it showed me the whole, it loaded the data, okay? As you see, we have the company name, rank, revenue change, and the things. As you see, it's in tabular format, okay? It's in tabular format. It's not this ugly text anymore, okay? It looks much better. So since we loaded, we're going to give it a variable name so that we can use it anytime we want. I'm going to call this F500 from now on, okay? And yes, as you see, it's here right now. It doesn't take any space in my notebook, but I know it's there. It's in the background, and I know I can run it anytime I want, okay? All right, so let's take a look at the process one more time. pd.read underscore file type is CSV, open round bracket. Please notice it's round bracket. Single or double quote, doesn't matter. And file name, and that's it. Now, since I saved it as F500, I'm curious about the file type, okay? So do you have any idea about the file type? What do you think the file type is? Okay, the file type is Pandas data frame. Okay, this is data frame, so it's important to know that. Okay, good. Now, I'm curious about my data set, okay, because I know this F500, I know there are 500 companies, there are 500 rows, but what if it's a different file and I don't know the size of the file? In order to find it out, so what we do is the data frame. By the way, from now on, when I say data frame, I say this because we read the data, we load it as a data frame, and we gave it a variable name. And from now on, this is my data frame, okay? F500 is my data frame now. So in order to check the size of my data frame, it is like data frame normally. This is the formula, data frame shape. When you do this, you will know the size, but if I just hit enter, I will get an error because my data frame here in this case is F500. So I delete it, I will replace it with F500. So when I do this, so this is my shape of the my data frame. It means I have 500 rows in my table and 17 columns, okay, 17 columns. So, so this is good. I have 500 rows. This is what I was expecting, right? Because it's F500. It would be a problem if I had only 450 or 520. So everything looks normal. And I know that there are 17 columns in my data set. This is the first part. So is everything clear so far? Do you have any questions or anything? Please let me know if you have any questions or anything. So there's this, by the way, reaction button. There's reaction option. I don't know if it is available. So please, from time to time, give me feedback. Okay, there is like yes icon, no icon, cross. There's cross, thumbs up, etc. So please give me feedback from time to time. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right, great. So let's move on. Let's move on. It's before doing any analysis, it is very important to inspect our data frame. Okay, we need to make sure our data set is not corrupt. It's fine. Everything is normal. So we need to do this. And
can you go to exercise 2.1 for a second, please?
which one? 2.1?
2.2, sorry.
2.2, okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right. Good. Remember, like here, I just, when I created this data frame here, I just clicked DF, and because it was a very small data and I could see everything, there is no problem. But when I loaded here, this one, for example, let me type here again, F500. So it's so big and it doesn't fit anywhere and it takes a lot of space. And I usually don't do that. So we always use this one. Okay, data frame, which is F500 now, dot head. So let's say I want to see top 10 companies, okay, just 10 of them, not everything, okay. So as you see, it starts from 0 and up to 9. It means there are 10 rows here, okay. Yeah, so I see only 10 of them. And same way, if I want to see the final last 10 rows, and tell me what is it, you can think about it. Tail. Yeah, you can guess. So when you do tail, sorry, 10. So as you see, the last 9 rows. So head and tail. But usually if you don't pass any number here, default is 5, okay? When you don't type anything, you will have top 5 rows. Same goes for tail as well. Okay, right. So I'm going to, so here in this exercise, we need to select top 6 rows, and then I need to save it. I need to give it a variable name, F500 underscore head, okay, in case I want to use it later. And you see it's taking space and I don't want to fill my table with it. I just save it, so anytime I want to see it, I can just call it, okay? So for tail, so the final 8 rows, and I'm going to save it as F500 underscore tail. So as you see, that wasn't very difficult. Okay, so and we did before, let me do it again, data frame. So let's check right now D types, okay, data types of our data frame. F500. Now, D types, this is a different way, okay, of, earlier I did print type and I put F500 inside, and this is a bit different. This is a bit different. This one shows me every single column, give me information about every single column. So we have company, we have rank. I see the data type of company is object. Object means string, okay? So rank is integer, revenue is integer. Revenue change and profit is decimal, so it is float. Asset is integer, profit change, float. So these are string values, previous rank. And yeah, I can see the data type of every single column thanks to this comment. So what else? So we are checking everything about our data frame. So we know how many, we check the shape, we took a look at the top 5, top 6 rows, final 10 rows, and we didn't see any problem. And we check type. Now I want to have some more information about our data type. And info, data frame info will give me even further information. So first of all, I know that it's a data frame. There are 500 entries ranging from 0 to 499, and there are 17 columns. So looking at, I still see the data type. So info, actually, I usually do info. I don't do much. I don't use this much because info gives me more information. What else? Okay. Obviously, there are 500 countries, 500 companies with their rank and revenues. I see some missing data here. Revenue change, I have 2 missing data here. Profits, 1 missing data. The biggest problem is with the profit change. I don't have enough information about profit change, but overall data set is good. There are not a lot of missing information. Okay, and I see my data types are normal. Sometimes, like rank is you expect integer, but sometimes it comes as object. That would be a problem, and you had to work on it. But we have a good data set, so we don't have such problem. Okay, good. So we're going well so far. Any questions so far? Okay.
Sir.
Okay, good. All right. So let's move on. So now we are able to access our data set, like we did before. And if I want to, anytime I want to see my data, if I forget, and I can simply do F500 head and I can see it. But right now I have the whole data frame. I don't want to all the time take a look at all this data frame. Sometimes I'm just interested in the companies only, okay, or the industry or their profit. So how can we do it? So the first one way to do it is that we do F500 square bracket and single or double quote, and simply we type the column name, in our case, company. When I do it, as you see, I have all of the companies selected, nothing else, only companies. Okay. And another way to do it is that F500 dot company, the same thing. There is no difference. See, I have the same result. Okay. And as just like the data frame, if I want to see only some of them, I'm going to just take a look at top 20 of them only. Okay, head 20. Okay, so after this, I just put head and it's the same thing. If I don't type anything, it will show me top 5. Here also it works the same, head 3. See, I have 3 of them. Okay, maybe you might ask if there is any difference between them or not, and which one is better. I would prefer this one in most of the time because this one works fine, but as long as it is just one word. If, for example, if it is like company name, for example, if there's a space, this one will not work. But this one will always work. This one, even if there's a space, it will always work. So, but of course, this is much easier. If there is only one thing, just one analysis I do, and if it is the one word, I prefer this one. This is shorter. But if I do many of them, and for the consistency reason, I choose this method. I don't want to have just some of them like this and some of them this way. So it's totally up to you. As long as this works, you can use this one, or in the worst case scenario, you can use this one. It's totally at your disposal, no difference. Okay, this part is fine. Okay, let's move on. Now, since we know how to hold any column, so we have a task here. If I want to hold the industry column, and then after that, I need to give it a variable name, industries. How can I do it? Can somebody guide me? Any volunteers? It's not a difficult task. Okay, F500 industry, okay. See, it's just fine, perfectly fine. And it would work without, it would work like this as well. See, it's the same. So I'll just give it a variable name. Okay, I'm going to industries. Okay. Remember, we were, where was it? Okay. So now let's check the data type of industries, okay? Data type of industries. Print type industries, okay? So when we type it, normally, before doing that, I'm going to one more time print the type of F500. We did it before, and you see it's Pandas core frame data frame. But here, the difference is I have just one column only here, just one column. And I gave it a variable name. And I'm checking right now. You see that it is now not data frame anymore. It is called series. So any column, okay. So each one here is a series. Each one is a series. It's important to know this because there are times, there are some formulas, there are some applications. You can apply only series and some, you know, not, I mean, they are not exactly the same thing. They are different. There are different applications. So when I say data frame, I'm talking about more than one column. At least there are two, but when we talk about series, it's only one column. Okay, it's important to note this one. Okay, so selecting one column was not a difficult task, and it was easy. But how about selecting more than one column? Can we do that? Yes, we can do that. It's not a big trouble, actually. It's easy as well. Just there's a slight difference. So, like again, data frame. Normally, I'm just showing you the formula, okay? And inside of this, what do? Just select two columns, column one, column two. Do you think it would work? Why don't we try? Let's try with our F500. So I want to select country. And also I want to select, I don't know, rank. So when I hit run, I will get an error. Oh, so I made a mistake, curly bracket. I've corrected the problem, I'm in brackets. When I hit run, I will still get an error. I get an error because the difference between selecting one column and multiple columns, we need to have a double square brackets, because this is not one dimension. This is multiple dimensions. That's why we need to have two curly brackets. So, I mean, even there are 3, 4, 5 columns, still we have two square brackets, okay? So when I hit run, it works fine. Okay, so please notice, remember, when we select multiple columns, we need to have two square brackets. Then it will work fine. So right now in this task, what did I say? We need to select revenues and years on global 500 list. Years on global 500 list. I need to make sure I don't have any spelling mistakes. Otherwise, there will be a mistake. Yeah. It looks like I made a mistake. Why don't I just copy here's on, yeah. Yeah. See, it works fine. Now I'm going to assign a variable revenues, years. Okay, so it's here. I can use it anytime. So now remember we talked about type here. So we have here data frame, F500 data frame. When we have just one column, it was series. So in your opinion, what will be the data type of revenues years? In your opinion, what is the data type of this? Any ideas? Series or data frame? Let's find out. It's a data frame because it's not just one row anymore, right? It is like when you run it, even let's do the head, okay? let's see the top 5 rows. It is just like a tabular data frame. We have index, we have 2 columns here. It's a data frame. That's why data type is data frame. Yeah. So we know if only countries, it's series. If it is the type of F500 is data frame, and revenues years is also data frame. Okay, so far I was telling you about creating data frame. We were talking about reading a data set in our notebook. We also inspected, the columns and everything. So what? You can tell me. So what is special about it? So, okay, here we will take a look at this. Right now, what series is now, right? Any particular column is a series. For example, let's say country, rank is a series. Country is a series, okay? So if you have numerical values in any column, let's say series A is ranking of this year, series B is ranking of last year. So, adding them doesn't make sense, but if you subtract this year's ranking from last year, you can see whether you moved up or you moved down. So we can do any kind of mathematical operation with between columns thanks to Pandas, and it will be very quick. It can be a lot quicker than regular Python operation. So basically how it works is like this. Imagine you have one column like this, and second column, these are the value of the second column. So where's 3 plus 7? Why is it 3 plus 7? Okay, I don't know where did I get this one? Yeah, 6 plus 5 is 11. 1 plus 3 is 4. As you see, this is the result, okay? It automatically sums it up, okay? Like I said before, we will do a mathematical operation here to find out whether any particular companies went up or down in ranking, okay? Let me take a look at the columns again. By the way, if you want to just see the columns in the data set, you can do like this, F500 or DataFrame.columns. You will just get the names of the columns, okay? So I have rank here. Rank is this year, and I have previous rank here, okay? So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to select the previous year's rank, and I'm going to select current rank, and I'm going to subtract current year's rank from the previous years, and I will see the shift, okay, to see whether upward shift or downward shift. Okay, let's do it. So F500, I'm going to use dot because although there are 2 words here, but there's underscore, so they are not separated, so they are 1 word. I will use this method this time. Previous rank minus F500 rank, okay? And let me delete, I don't need it anymore, okay? And now, if I hit run, where did I make mistake? F500 previous year. Just to be 100% sure, I will use this one. Okay, see, it works. It's not very, stable, the other version. That's why I prefer this method. It works sometimes, but it doesn't some other times. So I'm going to call this, I will give a variable name, rank change. You see, it was so easy. There are, let's say, there are 500 values, 500 values here, 500 values here. It was so quick. It will be the same, almost same, even if you have 5,000 values. The speed would be the same. Okay. So anytime I want to take a look at the rank change, I can check it. Okay. So what time is it? Okay, let's take a break before we start the next session, and we will continue after the break. Let's take 10 minutes break, okay? And we will resume the lesson at 7:05.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, see you later. I'm going to pause recording. Please remind me after the lesson, okay? I need to resume recording because a couple of students asked for it. Recording. Okay. Hello again. Okay, now.
Hello, Mr.
Hello. So far, we talked about loading data and selecting columns, doing some operations. And so from now on, we will do data exploration. We will dig deeper about our data set, okay? So remember, we did here check the previous rank, and this is rank, and we saw how big. Let's take a look at again, rank change. So for example, we have some of them. For example, the first company was top ranking and still in the same rank, but some of them have -1, it means went down, shift down. Some of them went 3 rankings up. This company went down a lot, etc. So when we look at it, for example, Walmart was #1 before and still #1. There is no rank change. China National Petroleum went down by 1 rank. Toyota Motor went up by 3. So this is something we learned. So, but we want to know, for example, which one had maximum change, increase, maximum decrease. In order to do that, we can use this commands. We have series. Remember, series, when we say series, we talk about just one column, okay? One column is series. You can select the column and then max. It will tell you the maximum value in that column. Maximum, minimum, mean means average. Median value is the value right in the middle between the highest and lowest. Mode is the most frequently repeated one. And sum is the sum of all of the values in the series, okay? So for example, remember we saved here, we calculated the rank change and saved it as rank change. And rank change here is type rank change. So as you see, it's a series, so I can apply all of these formulas on this rank change, right? So let's do it. For example, I want to know maximum rank change, okay? Rank change dot max. The biggest change was 226 level up, the maximum biggest increase, this one. And the lowest biggest decrease is rank change minimum minus 500, okay? But you will be curious that how come, if there are only 500 companies, how come there's 500 changes? At Fortune 500, actually they have bigger data, but they shared with only top 500, okay? So that's why, you know, we still have there are companies who were probably in the maybe 100 position last year, but because they went down 500 by 500 down, so they're in the 600 position, so they're not right now here in the Fortune list, or it can be vice versa, okay? Okay, so because I know I have all these things and I can apply this knowledge to anything I want, you know. By the way, let's complete this one. Rank change max. Rank change. Okay, so how about the revenues? I want to know, I'm curious about, you know, we have this revenues column. I know there are 500 companies here. I'm so curious about their revenues, total revenues of 500 companies. By the way, this value is millions, you know, so whatever number here, so the revenue is that many million, okay, not only this amount. So it means 485,000. I think this is some kind of billions, you know, I'm not very good at math, but so this one times 1 million, so that's the revenue of Walmart. So now I want to know the total revenues of this whole 500 companies. So in order to do that, you know, I'm going to, let me scroll down. I need to hold, select revenue column, F500, revenues, right? Let me check if it's okay. Yeah, so this is the revenues. And I want to, if I want to sum up all the values here, all I need to do is I need to do sum. Yeah. You know, wow, it's crazy. There are this many $million, this many $1 million, the total revenues of this 500 companies. It's crazy, isn't it? It's a lot of money. And what about the average income? For example, okay, this is the sum, and I'm curious about the minimum. Let me do the same thing, but this time I want to know the minimum. Minimum how much? So minimum is this amount. Maximum is this amount. Of course, sum is much bigger, right? So, but I want to know the average revenue. In order to calculate the average revenue, I'm lazy to type everything. I just copy and paste that. I will just type here mean. Mean means average, okay? So this is the average income of the all companies. So what you are doing actually here is that you sum the revenues of all of the companies and divide it by 500. Let's see, okay, if it is matching this amount or not, so that we can compare. See, it's the same thing. So mean is the average of all of the revenues. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Okay. So this is I can do everything manually. But if I want to, can I get all this information in just one go? Is there a way I can do everything in one go? Yes, I can do it. F500, this is the whole data frame. If I describe this comment, does everything for me. Okay, look at this. Look at this. I have the rank, all of the values here. And so why don't I first? Okay, before I don't want to, let me do like this. Let me do let's take a look at revenues first, okay? Okay, so F500 revenues and describe. So let's take a look at just this one column. When I put describe here, so the first one tells me there are 500 numbers, 500 values, okay? Total number of values in revenues column. So this is the mean. Remember, I calculated here. Yeah, this is the mean. And in statistics, we have standard deviation. We didn't talk about it, and I'm not planning to talk about it. It's out of the scope of today's lesson. And I also forget about this, and maximum value here. So this describe gives me all of the information about it, okay? All right, so, but I can apply describe for, because I apply here, this is series, I apply it for series. I can apply it to data frame as well. And here, it will tell me everything about all of the numerical values only. Remember, we have some values like company name, CEO, they are not numerical values. We don't have any, we exclude here. This one exclude that thing here. So we have everything about each numerical values. For example, number of company, again, same, mean, so the maximum, minimum, assets, profit change, everything. Yeah, basically we have everything here. Okay. By the way, you see something strange here. There is like 5 plus 0, 2, 2 plus 2, we have plus 0, 5. So maybe some of you have learned it already. So this one means the amount before plus multiply by, so this is 2, right? 10 second power of 10, okay? So it means 5 multiplied by 100, it means there are 500 companies here, okay? So I think this is about, this is, let's say this is the revenue. So there's this amount multiplied by 5th power of 10. So this is the amount. So this is how you should understand. All right. So we have a task to do right now, and so we have rank column, and we need to assign it to a variable. We need to, okay, first, let me see, where am I now? Okay, F500 rank. I'm going to assign variable rank to it. Okay, and next, I'm going to describe rank. Okay, so rank, describe. What is wrong here? Is it probably maybe, let me. Okay, you see, dot column name doesn't work all the time. So that's why we should choose this one. And yeah, it works right now. And I'm going to give rank desk. Rank. Okay, so yeah. And I'm going to also describe the previous one, F500. Okay, and I'm going to ref rank. Okay, now if I want to describe see, the previous one is, oh, okay, let's take a look at this a bit. I want to compare both of them. So here, you know, last year, in the previous year, the mean, the average was 222, and now 250. So I don't get it. Why in max we have this? Should be the same. I didn't get it, but never mind. It's not a big thing, but you get the idea. You can apply this, but it doesn't necessarily have to make sense, you know. But you know how it works. So this is about numerical ones, okay? Numerical ones. But if I want to have some idea about non-numerical values, what I need to do is I still need to do F500. Okay. Okay, dot describe. Okay. And what I need to do here, include equal square bracket. Okay. Let me do first one first. With or without object. So when I do like this, so these are all non-numerical columns. For example, company. There are 500 companies, and of course, each of them are unique companies. So, but let's take a look here. For example, country. There are 500 values in country column, but only 34 of them are unique. As you see, the company name there, each of them are different companies, 500 unique names, but this 500 companies are from 34 different countries, or yeah, 34 different countries. And the frequency, so the country which has the biggest frequency is 132 times. One of the countries, I'm assuming it is USA, appeared in this list 132 times. Okay. Yes. And for example, headquarter locations, out of, yeah, there are 235 headquarters. I think Beijing, China repeated the most. I mean, although companies are from UK, but their headquarter location mostly in Beijing, China. I mean, most of the companies. And frequency is 56 different, I'm assuming this one repeated 56 times. Okay. Right, this is the non-numerical value. And another way to do this one, you know, I was hesitant because I wasn't sure whether with code or without. There's another way to access the same information, but this time with code and capital O. O means capital O. O means objects. I mean, when they are not numerical, they are string. Strings means, in this case, object. When we run it, we have the same thing.